On today's show,
Right here, every day.
we tackle ice. Up first, a trip north to the border, where fishing comes with guarantees.
Oh, look at that money fish right there.
Then, a lunch break meant to make most winter motorheads jealous. And we catch up with a Carver who takes his fishy passion to the shop on cold winter days.
Northern Beer and your Minnesota Select GMC dealers present... There you go. Due North Outdoors. Here are your guides, Bill Sherck and Laura Shedd.
Hey, welcome to the show. Glad you tracked us down due north.
Up first, we have our compass set due north.
Hey, wait a second. Yeah, that's right. We're going north to Ballards to tackle the ice.
Cool might be the right word once Old Man Winter socks in Lake of the Woods. Cool also applies come 6:15 a.m.
You guys ready to go or what?
Absolutely.
We're ready.
As anglers pile into the old bombers well before sunrise. A parade of old machines grinds out onto Lake of the Woods' endless winterscape. I'm up to visit Ballards with fishing buddy Jason Durham. The third guy in our party,
Right here, every day.
the guy in charge, Nick Anthony, Ballards' head fishing guide.
Well, right now we're about 9 miles out of the Lighthouse Gap.
It's about a 45-minute ride out along this remote, staked-out Lake of the Woods trail.
So this is your magic spot. This is the secret spot no one knows about. Close your eyes.
Out here, literally a cast away from the Canadian border, no one else except the Ballards crew. Every day,
Hey, see you today.
the guides shake up the ice shacks.
Well, we move them every day. We've got 42 of them, so every day we pick a couple and try and keep them on the fish. We've got heat.
In a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, Ballards literally sets up new shacks with fresh holes on, we hope, fresh fish.
I was thinking $1 a fish, head to head.
Figures the guy with home turf advantage would make the bet.
Here we are.
Today we fish out of old number 8.
This right here is going to win me $1 off of each one of these guys. This lucky one right there.
Okay, bet set. First fish wins $1.
Problem is, I'll get it from Jason. It'll just be like 5 nickels, 17 pennies, a quarter.
Looks like we got a bite going there. Ooh, there we go. A decent one. Feels like $1.
Oh no, looks like a good fish.
Oh, look at that money fish right there.
Now, what's that old cliche? A fish in hand is worth $2 from a buddy.
I get to eat tonight. I don't know about you guys.
I think I'm out of buck is what I think.
Yes, this is exactly why we head to Lake of the Woods to fish.
I mean, you literally look at the horizon and you can't see shoreline in some places.
Maybe it's the nothingness outside. Or maybe it's that moment when the electronics light up and the end of the rod tip thumps.
I missed it again.
I heard the drag tap on that one.
Jason, get over here. Move my Vexilar.
Oh, you're kidding me.
A Tulady. Really?
You never know what you're going to catch, but there's always going to be a fish out there to be caught.
You can say that again. After lunch, Jason finally hooks up.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Sometimes you think you got a small walleye on, and it turns out to be a really nice perch. I'll take that any day.
Lake of the Woods gives us yet another giant.
His mouth is huge. It's like the mouth of a 2-pound crappie.
Catch as many fish as you want out here. At the end of the day, when the sun makes an exit, we call it a day. It's a sweet ride back in the bombers. Back at Ballards, visitors kind of settle in for the night, but not before dinner, where a little fun takes place in the tavern. You'll notice the Ballards always have on the hockey game. Why? Well, because of that guy, right there, Keith Ballard. He grew up here, and his parents still own the place. Keith's a sort of hometown boy turned NHL star. Yes, they love their hockey up here. In fact, that guide of ours, remember Nick Anthony? Yeah, he's kind of famous too. A Minnesota golfer and national champ. Kind of cool that hockey and ice rule up here in the North Woods. And it kind of makes sense too, especially in a place called Ballards.
It's heaven on ice.
Still ahead.
The ratchet strap in the front was not the original of the machine. It's a little insurance to make sure the fiberglass doesn't come apart any more than it already is.
Hold on. We document the fastest lunch break on record, and
I use a small bobber.
a bit of winter advice to get you ready for the cold fishing season.
Due North Outdoors is brought to you by Joe's Sporting Goods, Strike Master, Aluma Trailers, and by Radco. Due North Outdoors is presented by Northern Beer.
So, I'm wondering, what do you do on your lunch break? Probably not the same thing the folks at Polaris do, especially when the snow flies.
What we do is we blow off a little steam at lunch.
My job is to start the race,
My tank leaks a little bit, so I got to fill her up and then pump her back out.
to identify any cautionary issues.
Gets a little rougher at times, a little smoother at others, but overall it's a lot of fun.
To indicate last lap and to wave the checker flag.
Right now I'm the reigning champ, yes I am.
When it's time for lunch at Polaris, it's time to race.
The guy went for first place and bailed.
Don't you wish your lunch break looked like this?
We call it our vintage rally.
We run basically every week, one day a week.
Usually on Fridays between the hours of about 11:30 and 1.
Well, there's a couple long straightaways, some sweepers, and a few left and right-hand turns. So our inspiration was to put together an event that would have some kind of winter activity that was fairly low cost.
They do have a few simple rules. No independent front suspension, and you must have a fan-cooled or free air motor at 440 cc's or less. That's it.
Well, the main thing is to get out and have some fun, blow off some steam, and do something we all love to do.
Most of the sleds do have a few, shall we say, modifications.
Well, for sure the seat is. That's high-dollar tech right there. It's good stuff. And when you get a really poor hole shot, they don't even see it coming. You got the black tape.
The ratchet strap in the front was not the original of the machine. It's a little insurance to make sure the fiberglass doesn't come apart any more than it already is.
I'm out here on a 1973 TX 400. It might seem casual, but a lot of people put a lot of time into these things, and so they're proud.
Well, I haven't ridden a Scorpion in 8 years.
Today's race features a woman for the very first time.
I work with all men, so no big deal.
Good luck to you, Julie.
Oh, we got another one moving in for first. Uh-oh. Here we go.
It's about as fast as I thought, but the course is kind of bumpy, so I had to hang on.
Even those who don't race get a front row seat from the lunchroom.
The cafeteria here at our facility in Wyoming, Minnesota has beautiful glass walls on both sides so that even the people who aren't directly participating are able to watch and cheer us on.
You know, you kind of become a hero for 5 minutes when you go back in if you do well that day.
That's enough fun for one day. Now get back to work.
Still ahead, a little advice to help you catch more fish using tip-ups. Also, a bit of insight into winter gas for your winter machines.
Due North Outdoors is brought to you by Otter Outdoors, Aquaview Underwater Cameras, and by Northland Tackle. Check your compass. It's time for the Due North Road Trip. Brought to you by McCarthy Buick GMC in Coon Rapids.
Who says cold and snow leads to the winter blues? Not so in Nisswa, Minnesota. Each January, the Brainerd JCs put on an event like no other on the planet, the world's largest ice fishing contest. As many as 12,000 cold weather anglers show up to compete. All the money raised goes to nearby Camp Confidence, an outdoor learning center for people with developmental disabilities. Now, keep in mind, the world's largest ice fishing tournament needs the world's most ice fishing holes. So, day before the event, volunteers drilled 22,000 of them. Even local jail inmates pitch in to do some of the drilling. Oh, and winner of the event, well, that person takes home a new pickup. 150th biggest fish? That's good for an ATV. Check out the Brainerd JC's Ice Fishing Extravaganza. That's today's Due North Road Trip.
Today's Due North Insider is presented by Rapid Marine.
Hey, Bill Sherck, the man about the woods here. This time of year when temperatures get bitterly cold, I've got a tip to help keep your auger running as it should. The tip is this. Every time you fuel up at the gas station, buy the super fuel, the premium fuel. When I'm talking about, there's like regular unleaded that's 89 octane rating. Get the good stuff like 91 or 92. Why? Well, in this part of the country during the winter months, the fuel companies actually put extra additives into the fuel. And it's meant to help keep engines and motors running more smoothly, especially when the temperatures get so darn cold. So, next time you go to the gas station, fuel up with the good stuff for your auger. Check it out. This is the end result.
Hi, I'm Terry Tuma. Let me show you my favorite way of hooking a waxworm or silver wiggler, for that matter, ice fishing with small ice lures. And the common approach is always to thread it on in this fashion. And what I hear so many times is, don't let that sunfish see the point of that hook. So it ends up to be sort of a glob, if you will, in this fashion. But over the years of experimenting and working with these types of grubs, and again, it's going to apply to silver wigglers and so forth, and it's to hook it through the tip and right at that brown end, and just hook it. And you need a very sharp hook, just to pierce. You do not want to rip that skin, because you want the natural juices to flow out. And just let it hang in this fashion, and that becomes more productive. Give it a try. I think it's going to improve your success for both sunfish and crappies this winter.
I love tip-up fishing during the winter season. Well, let me show you how I rig mine up. I love these Frabill Pro Thermals. They're rigged with a standard tip-up line, but here's the key. I throw a swivel on the end with a good knot. Then, in the storage case, I've got a bunch of pre-rigged snells that I use. I've got one for crappies and walleyes, another for bass, and a big fluorocarbon with a circle hook for pike. Here's another tip for you. Every time I set my depth on the tip-up, I use a small bobber to mark my depth. That way, if I'm catching fish, I always know how to reset this thing without having to use the weight and go through that whole process. Another tip for you, bells. I throw them on my tip-up, so every time they spring, the bell rings and I know I've got a fish. Try rigging up your tip-ups and using them. They're a great way to fish on the ice.
Coming up, the story behind Bob Johnson, a guy with a steady hand.
And I usually start right with the gill plate.
You're watching Due North Outdoors.
Check your compass. It's time for the Due North Classic.
If unusual art lights up your day, well, you'll want to meet this artist on his way to work.
What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put a pattern. I'm drawing the pattern of a perch onto a piece of paper.
Bob Johnson is a wood carving artist you've probably never heard of. And he carves things you probably never figured could be art. Fish decoys. Bob Johnson carves fish decoys.
When I was a kid growing up, I grew up north of Detroit Lakes on the White Earth Indian Reservation. Spearing has always been a very important part of any tribal person around. My dad was an avid outdoorsman. He taught me how to fish, hunt, and spearing was part of it.
His Brainerd, Minnesota studio is also his laundry room.
What I do is I'll hold this knife, and I just start cutting it. I'm going to pull this book out again. I just want to take another reference here. And I usually start right with the gill plate.
Long ago in Minnesota winters, spear fishermen dangled decoys through a hole in the ice to attract northern pike. Today, pike spearing is still practiced by a declining number of Minnesotans, but the decoys themselves have turned into a booming sport of their own.
This fish here is going to be presented at a competition next week, and one of the categories is a 9 to 10 inch perch.
A swimming perch is only as good as its paint job, of course.
Cadmium yellow is the first color that I'm going to spray down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the vertical markings in now. This one will be entered in the show next weekend. See if it turns out good now. A lot can go wrong.
And now, the moment of truth for a fish carver and his perch. It's on to the annual gathering of fish carvers in Perham, Minnesota.
We're registering decoys for the John Jensen Nationals.
Last 30 is 206.
We just hit 200 fish registered. We should hit 600.
Finally, the time comes. Will the carved fishies be judged good enough to keep?
That's a poor swimmer, but a nice fish. Glide's good. Average swimmer. A little bigger fish to swim here. There's a nice fish. Beautiful. Effortless swim. That was a very nice job of letting that decoy.
And Bob? Well, he's thinking about the sleep he's missing.
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for Monday so that I can, or Sunday night actually, so I can go to bed at a decent time.
Bob's perch is waiting too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's start the banquet. It's showtime.
One by one, the winners are announced. And then...
First place, perch, airbrush, from Brainerd, Minnesota, Bob Johnson.
Turns out, Bob wins 6 firsts out of 7 entries, including the highest honor fish carvers bestow.
Winner take all and $1,500 from Brainerd, Minnesota, Robert Johnson.
So, that's Bob Johnson's story of Artist Makes Good. He carves fish decoys, and they've been judged good enough to keep.
I'm shocked. I'm feeling shocked. I'm feeling shocked.
That is some pretty nice stuff that guy carves.
It certainly is. It's a little slice of Americana. But you know what? We are out of time.
Fine. We're out of here until next week.
That's right. Remember to introduce someone new to the great outdoors.